Hi all and welcome into this iRacing video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the iRacing beta UI software. Lots of people I talk to still use the website to access whether they're test driving races, look at sessions, join other people's sessions. So for those unfamiliar, I thought we'd jump in, deep dive into the beta UI because I have been using it now successfully for the past couple of months, and it's my daily driver and how I launch all my races and interact with all you guys. Okay, so down here you can see the icon. The iRacing beta UI takes but a moment to launch up. Now, right out of the box, the first added benefit I'm going to say is for all those who leave Chrome running in the background when you're racing. I'm sure you've heard it before, but Chrome can be quite the resource hog. So that's one added benefit. This is a very light program. It seems to access a web page. I'm not sure how this is built, but if I had to guess, this is using WebTech anyway. But still, it's a lot less powerful than leaving Chrome running while you're racing. This can also be shut once the sim's loaded up, so if you are concerned or you're on a low-powered system, it works just fine. I've been, as I say, been running this for months, so it's not something I've just jumped into momentarily. Okay, the initial screen it usually opens you to would be home. Here you're just going to, much like the website, access news, things they've got going on, special offers, volume discounts, the usual stuff you see on the web, and you can even access their tweets. I find this good to keep apprised of cars they're adding, tracks that have been added, things that are going on. If it wasn't for this area, I wouldn't have made that Mazda MX-5 stress test race. So shout out to that. It was awesome. Esports Network, don't get much involved myself, but if you want to keep an eye on all the things iRacing's doing, usually over on Twitch, you can do that here. Okay, so that's the home tab. The Go Racing tab is obviously the tab I use the most. The up next screen, I have to admit I don't use myself. It can be a little overwhelming. You can filter it down, but it's every race series based on your filters here. So I always have these three ticked. You want this ticked if you want more than one multiple ticked here, and that will match all of them for you rather than ours. So eligibility based on your license, and owned content, i.e. the track and car. You can filter by only fixed setups, and these filters are pretty much true everywhere throughout the system. Multi-class, whether you want only a multi-class race or not, heat racing, pro event, you can filter by license specifically, whether you want a rookie race or whether you're looking to join a room where it's not empty or a practice session that's not empty, etc. Okay, so up next screen, I don't typically use because I usually filter by my favorites. We'll get to that in a moment. But this lets you see all the race events that are upcoming across everything you're eligible for, all the practice sessions, but I find the current series section much more informative. So let's go to this. This is what I class as my iRacing homepage. So what I usually do, have these three ticked, like I said, and I tick my little star. This is the stuff I'm interested. So on the left here, you can see these have been marked as favorite by me, depending on the series. You can view it two ways. This is actually quite pretty, but the view I'm used to now tells me the series, the car, the track, whether it's fixed or not. This is the eligibility, so as you can see, IMSA, I don't own Sebring, Porsche, I don't own VIR, the Skip, Alton Park, I don't have this week, iRacing Le Mans Series, Watkins Glen, I don't know. The little tick here is whether it's MPR eligible, so if you're looking to get yourself promoted, this is also handy because it lays it out quite simply for you. Here, you can order by all these as well. You can order by the license group, so we can see Rookie, Class Ds, Class Cs, Class B. Here's the participation data for the next upcoming race. So the numbers you're seeing here would be the next race and how many people have signed up and how long away that time is. Okay, so how do you go about favoriting things? Let's unfavorite for a second. And for example, order by series. So we can see here, if you was looking to get into the supercars, which I'm very tempted by, click that. And when you filter, it will show up here. But as you can see, I don't own either of the supercars. So I don't own the Ford or the Holden. So you can see it right here that you need to purchase it. But so I use this filtered with these two events as my de facto homepage, if you must, and how I use it. You can filter here. Sorry. This is more like you're drilling down, but if you want to break down your tags further, you can, ones that only meet MPR, so if you're looking to get out into a time trial, into a race to get your get your NPR met to get promoted. Ranked or unranked, this is useful if you wanted to jump in an unranked event. So if I untick my favorites and order by just unranked, turn off eligibility, you can see all the unranked events that are going on right now. If you just wanted to get out and drive, let's get those back on. NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, sports car, oval, road. So sometimes I have the road ticked mixed with this, mixed with my star. So because I do have a few oval races I keep my eye on, so untick that. So what else we got? Dirt oval, dirt road, and team events. Okay, so now let's say I'm interested in doing some Formula Sprint. I just did this race recently. If you hit click anywhere on the bar, anywhere along it at all, apart from the register button. That register button will register you, as you can see there, for the next available race. You can pick view series, but if you click anywhere along the line, you can see we have set up here the Dallara F3 at Interlagos, the moto circuit, and the temperature that it's going to be running for the official event. If you scroll down here, you can once again apply filters. You can check if any of your friends are in a race, who is anyone watching the race, the spectators, whether it's populated or not, and then you can match the tags by doing multiples. This is quite handy if you're only looking for a practice session or a race session. I leave it on all sessions because I usually find I forget that's checked and I wonder what's going on. So this is how I register for a race. I come in here and I pick the 4 o'clock, the 5 o'clock, etc. I register through. This is how I've always registered for races. This little icon here lets you know it's the race is trending, i.e. This is usually a popular event and a popular time. So if you was looking to jump into a practice session with someone, you can see this is how many times have been set in the session. So, yep, so we could jump into any of these sessions. You can know as well that this session will be ending sooner than any of these. You can see how long the event's been running for. So if you wanted to register, you just click this button here. We'll get into that in a moment when we come to test it and I'll show you. Okay, you can also browse by the entries. You can see everyone who's in practice sessions or registered for a race. You can look at the schedule, which is brilliant. So this is for the Formula Sprint here, the Formula Sprint schedule. So you can see every track, how long it is, what type of start, whether it's rolling or standing. And you can see I've completed all of them, and now we're at Interlagos, 10-minute race. That was fun. Lime Rock next, that's going to be awesome. The other facility is to see all the info for the series. One thing I did notice that's missing from the beta software as opposed to the web version is you don't get almost that race summary about, you know, coloured cones on exit. I just got used to that when I first got into iRacing, but that seems to be missing when it tells you what colour cones or pit speed, things like that. They could definitely do with adding that a bit, to make it a little bit more informative if you're about to jump in a session. Okay, let's back out of that. Oh yeah, that's what I want to show you. So all these buttons is to join a race or a practice, but if you're looking at getting a time trial done for your NPR, you can jump in a time trial. Or this test drive button. The beautiful thing about that test drive button, as opposed to the test drive button that's here in the top right while you're browsing, is this is more for setting up your own requirements. The car, the track, the weather, the wind speed, the humidity, marbles, whether they're on the track or they're persistent or not, that's your own test drive. Whereas the test drive we were just looking at matches the live event. So really handy. And that's if you're looking to get into a time trial where safety rating is on the line, but you can meet your NPRs if you do 4 of them. Okay, let's move on. User created races, exactly what it sounds like. So you can tick that to make sure you're own eligible and meet all the requirements, all users, and you can put public. There you go, so you haven't got to worry about a pass or anything. So these 3 events right now, we could jump in and join. Well, the top one's actually full, but you get the point. Once again, you can have it informational layout or the prettier layout. I'm just used to this. I wish I could get used to this. But it's just my eyes not dialed into it yet. I like this because of the informative. So this one looks good, for example, Daytona Oval, 3 cars, session names have fun, and lots of people are using it. Hit register, and you're in. One of the newer sections is the AI races. So you can create a season or a single race. You fill out the track, the weather, the race session itself, the car, AI details, AI strength, Track options, that's with the marbles persist, or it's clean, or it's green. Track conditions, time of day, and then you're away. You'll kick into a single AI race. Season, you can save rosters if you're looking to jump. I don't use this much other than the single AI race when I recorded the odd video. But it's fun. I think for racecraft, when they start adding more tracks and more cars, I probably will use it to just harness racecraft right before a race. Practice is all well and good, but learning where you can overtake or where's tight and stuff is a definite benefit. Time attack competition, haven't actually done one. It does look fun. I believe it's quite a new feature in iRacing, where they hold this almost seasonally contests on different competitions, and you set your session times and see who's fastest. So you've got a skip barber one here, all these tracks, and basically you get a rank, how fast you are. It stores all your times. I might look into that one time. It does look fun, but so busy with my own schedule, it's not something I'm looking at right now. Here you can create your own race. This is something like launching your own server, nominal fee, and you can create your own race on the server. There's a shortcut to the single AI race, single AI season, and the shortcut to the test drive button, which we'll cover in a moment. I'll tell you what, we've covered everything else iRacing. Let's go through this. Test drive, here's what I'm saying. This is where you create your own local area, just you're going to be racing, with all the set of requirements that you're going to want. Whether you want dynamic sky, how cloudy you want it, what temperature you want it, the relative humidity, wind speed, what direction the wind speed is in, what car you want to use. You can filter by owned or your favorites. So there you go. I try and list my favorite cars, favorite tracks, favorite series, because then if you're looking for something, it makes it a lot easier to find. So if we're looking at running the BMW at Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, we could do the national layout. Track conditions, leave marbles on the track, and then you can pick the track state. I leave it on generate, but you get my point. Time of the day, specific time. You can pick an exact time, or you can try and match the live session as best you can. So this is all very useful for when you're wanting to practice in a car track combo that's a week ahead, and obviously there's no sessions for it. Now you can actually bring up the advanced all-step wizard. This is a bit more in depth, but it lets you see it all in one go rather than stepping through. Can be useful just to making sure you've got everything dialed in. In this scenario as well, you can turn off damage. So if you're looking at putting in 100 odd laps and you can't be bothered to keep pitting every time you take off your front wing, you can disable car damage. My only thing to be wary of here is, let's say the car like the skip barber. If you're practicing on a track, for example, like Barcelona, where you've got a lot of the sausage curbs, learning that you can go over them for 10-15 times every 50 laps is a bad thing. You need to sometimes realise that you're damaging the car. So I'm sure you've all been there where we've gone over a sausage curb too much and we almost get the black and orange flag where we've got to come in because we've damaged the car. So if you've got this off, you find a line that's not an off track, but you're causing damage, so your miles may vary, but just be careful is all I'm saying. So I only use this test drive button if, as I say, it's a week ahead of time and I'm trying to dial it into what I best can understand are going to be the session details for the week ahead. Because obviously this week I would always jump into current series, filter down by favourites with my tags, for example with road. If I wanted to test drive on my own and not with other people, I would come down here, hit this button, and it's like having that button completely pre-filled for you. You would just end up in the session on your own with the real conditions. Okay, let's jump over to the store. I say store lightly. They've added it so you can see the cars you don't own, the cars you do own. Likewise for the tracks, you can see the ones you do own and the ones you can own. But as far as purchasing, it just opens Chrome. So not worth it. They haven't really built in the store per se yet. It's just web links at the moment. So let's hope to see a big improvement there because we wouldn't have to keep opening Chrome every time we buy a track. It'd be nice to have all the purchasing built in because it's actually quite a pretty area, a little bit more faster and better to use than the website I find this little area, but it's not something I do use because it's so limited. The paint shop, and you can pick a car, and it's much like the web features, but I find it a lot quicker. You can pick your colours, pick your wheel, create a swatch, apply them to all your cars, pick a UI, pick your sponsors, preferred car number. You can download the PSD, then get that all done. Pick your helmet and your suit. And this is if you wanted to bulk apply your helmet, suit, or your swatch to other cars. So it's great, a little bit faster to use on the website, as I say. Teams, I don't really utilize this yet. So you can create a team, you can invite people, set your rules, but you can do it all from here within the software. You can even find other people's teams and join and put in requests. You can see it there. But it's not something I really use yet, maybe in the future. Same with leagues. You can start a league. Much like this is the same as the web area. You can find a league based on everything. If we hit search, there you go. We've got lots of leagues we can join. But you would want to filter by your requirements, whether it's road, what kind of setups you're looking, what size league you want, what cars. Obviously, you wouldn't want to join just random leagues. So this lets you do that from all within the software. Another great thing. But teams and leagues, I haven't really got much to say because I don't utilize it much. Results, it's okay. It's quite limited, so you can see your recent results. Recent Formula Sprint, I'm sure you see this at the end of my videos. You can browse by the race, the qualifying and the practice session. You can see the, quite a lot of the details, the weather it was at, the time. Another thing I find is this updates a lot quicker than the web, so you'll be able to access your results here before you can access them in the members area on iRacing. 60 seconds, 2 minutes. I just find that they're obviously utilizing heavy cache on the website, whereas here, because they can offload the workload onto your CPU, they don't mind you viewing the details a bit sooner. Yep, you can't really do a lot here. There are some buttons that are missing, like you can't bring up the per lap data, which I like on the website, so you can see your every lap and where the off tracks are. That seems to be missing. I mean, hit me up in the comments if I'm wrong, but I've never been able to find it here. Because that would be nice. You can file protests within here, but once again, I believe it just opens up Chrome. Replays, much like the results, you can open up a replay. And if you saved one, hit the launch button. I'm not going to because it takes a while to load up, but that will load you back into the sim and the session, and you'll be able to scan through the replay. Another great feature, show your friends. Say hi if you see yourself. This is great because if someone's in an active session, which is a shame no one is, you get a little icon here, click it and you'll join their session, whether it be a practice session, anything. If they're jumping in a race and they've registered, that you'll get a little tire marker show up here. If you click it, you get the option to join the session they're in. Brilliant. The icon's similar to this icon here. So I utilize this all the time if I want to race with someone or jump in a practice session with them. Rather than having to message or phone them and ask them all the details of the session they're in, you get to see it right there, click the button, and you're in. Brilliant. Okay, I think that's everything apart from all the plethora of settings. I'm not going to go all through all the settings. It's mostly just customizing the favorites, resetting things. If you're unhappy, you almost like return to default. But as far as there aren't many, you can see your active iRacing credits if you refer people. You get a little notification here if you received a message from iRacing or there's going to be downtime. This makes sure your iRacing software is all completely up to date, so that's good. Before you start a session, you would like to know that. You can click this and see the active sessions that are going on and how your pings are to different locations. So as you can see, I probably shouldn't be racing in a Sydney server right now, and my current connection is North America, United States, last seen. You could use this if you signed in at a friend's house and you wanted to make sure that they weren't going to get in, using your details. You could sign them out from here. Not something I've ever had to worry about because I've only ever signed in from here. So what do I think? I find it less resource heavy than running Chrome, usually most people's browser. And I find it quicker to use. It's not complete. There are things it's missing. But as far as joining races, joining friends when they're seeing them online, having it running in the background while your sim's running, I find it brilliant. You can swap between this and your race session. I find it much easier to use, and it's pretty quick. Does it have problems? Yes, of course it has problems. If iRacing crashes or you exit wrong, sometimes there's a bit of a delay here to join. Actually, let me show you what it's like to join a session. So we will jump in a Formula Sprint test drive. As soon as you action it, this is firing up the sim, much the same as the web, no difference. The time's the same because what you're actioning from the web and what the BT software actions is the same facility. So you're not actually going to notice a difference as far as that. Where if it's a more complex session, you get a green bar come up here. Let's get back to that. You get a green bar come up here with a join and withdraw button. We're back out of this session and I'll show you. I don't want to just quit it because it will throw a hissy fit like it always does. But yeah, the test drive button, let's turn off the advanced, is really handy. You will get used to it. When you go to launch the test drive, you get this window that pops up to make confirmation that the car, the track, and the temperature. Obviously, I'm already running the sim, so it's not going to let me do that. Man, I wish I could do a review on how to make iRacing load a lot quicker. All right, let's back out of this session. One thing I want to show you is if we launch this test drive, if we try to join...
Radio check.
Yes, crew chief. Thanks, mate. Right, let's say we want to join this practice session here. If we hit register, and we wait a few moments, and you'll see this. We're waiting for the server to come, waiting for our join to be actioned and approved. We can back out. So we give that a second just to spin up. There you go. We've been approved to join. So if we was to hit the join button, it would be the exact same we just saw. We would get the sim box and we would be fired into the sim. Once you exit a session, you come into here, withdraw, much like you do on the web, and that's it, you're withdrawn. Nobody's racing, so I can't show you the join other button. I do recommend you use it. Certainly give it a try. iRacing's definitely been pushing this front and center. I mean, the Mazda test drive stress test event was them really pushing this because it was the first race where you had to use the Beta UI software to join. Now, they said that's not going to be the case going forward. They're not going to make Beta UI events mandatory, but the point of it was they were stress testing as many people they could. It was like 50 Mazdas per session. There was so many splits. It was a really fun event. It was like an hour-long race as well. So, but the point of it was to get people throughput using the Beta UI. So they're definitely investing in it. The web software has not really been moving forward, so I do see them switching to this in the end, but that's my opinion, not anything I've heard on the iRacing side. So there you go, guys. I just wanted to give you a quick deep dive into the beta software because a few people I've spoke to have never used it, so I just wanted to make sure you give it a try. Alright guys, like if you like the video, subscribe if you want to see the next one, which will be soon. Bell notification when you know when it drops, but other than that, thank you again for all the support. It's amazing. I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.